All right, shh. Starting class. All right. So, based on your bell ringer, what are we learning about today? Yes, the person that raised their hand. Thank you.
How space exploration, like what happened and what events happened.
Space exploration, important events, right? Anybody else want to raise their hand and tell me something else? Nice shoes. Hey, dudes. All right. Hey, dude, you can pay me for that sponsored shout out right there. Yeah.
Major discoveries. I don't know. Just what it says.
Okay. Yes. Major discoveries. Were you gonna say something before I got distracted by your shoes? Okay. All right. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pick 4 people to look up. So look up 4 events. All right. Yes. You look up the date, the year of the first plane flight. Don't tell anybody. When I'll call on you, then you just tell me the date. Okay. All right. You, whose name shall not be spoken, Voldemort. You are going to look up the first rocket invented.
Yes.
Okay? You, whose name shall not be spoken. All right? You're going to look up the first man in space. All right? And then you are going to look up the year the first man was on the moon. All right? So after you look that up, we'll come back and we're going to yell out the date. Thank you for sticking with us in that commercial. All right, so the first date we're going to use, and let's make this a fancy different color. We'll use red. The first date we're going to use is going to be the year that the first plane flight happened.
1903.
1903. And since this is the 3rd class that we've done this, I know that that is accurate.
That was the one. That was the
I want it in my head.
Let's go. You're doing great, bud.
All right, 19. 1903. All right. Who did the rocket? First year the rocket was invented. Yep.
1923.
1923. Ooh, 20 years later. 20 what? 6?
26.
Okay, that's fine. 1926. All right. So, how many years in between that? Math. Simple math.
23.
23. Good. All right. First man in space was you.
1961.
That's correct. 1961. What's the difference in years?
20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 42, 50, 35.
Thank you. I don't know how many numbers you said, but I heard somebody say the correct answer of 35. All right. And then the first man on the moon?
1969.
1969.
That's 8 years.
They made some great cars that year, by the way.
I wonder if it was on the moon.
All right. So what's the difference between those two? Obviously,
8.
8 years. Very good. Now, let's think about this. From the first plane flight in 1903 to getting somebody on the moon, how many years was that?
36.
No.
Or
That was
66.
66.
I don't know why it's 30.
66 years.
I'm on a roll today with this.
66 years. So, let's put a little perspective in this for 1 second, okay? In 1903, humans flew for the first time. Do you guys know who that was?
It was
The brothers. They weren't the wrong brothers, they were the...
Right.
You sure? Yeah, you're right. All right, it was the Wright brothers. In 1903, they defied, all imagination and flew, okay? 66 years later, we landed on the freaking moon. We landed on the moon in 66 years. It's perspective. Let's just say you're 5 years old. You're all 5 years old
Okay.
in 1903. Shh. No, you don't act like that when you're 5. You might like that down. In 1903, you're 5 years old. Okay? You witnessed this happen. I mean, you obviously don't see it on the TV. You probably see it in the newspapers. You just found out they just flew for the first time. That's crazy. 66 years later, you're how old? 71. And you just witnessed a human land on the freaking moon. You are in the same life. You could witness somebody fly for the first time and somebody land on a different space body for the first time. That's crazy.